Okay, Assalamualaikum. My name Muhammad Ayub bin Ahmad Talib. I will discuss about the duty of care. Okay, duty of care. Duty of care. The plaintiff has to show that the defendant owes a duty of care to the plaintiff. Duty of care is a legal obligation imposed on an individual requiring that they adhere to a standard of reasonable care while performing any act that could forcibly harm other. Okay, issue. Kemangan Ranger and Jelly United have a friendly football match. During the match, Kaka from Jelly United kicked the ball which hit Gani, Kemangan Ranger defender. Kaka actually noticed that Gani was trying to block him, so he kicked the ball hard. The ball hit Gani on his face, causing his face to become swollen. Okay, case related. Bolton 5 Stone years 1955. The plaintiff became ill as a result for drinking a bottle of ginger beer which had been fogged by a decomposed snake in the bottle. The bottle of ginger beer was purchased by a friend. She sued the manufacturer for negligence. It was held that one must take reasonable care to avoid act or omission that could reasonably for reason as likely to injure for neighbor. Thus, the defendant was liable to pay damage to the plaintiff for negligence. Application. In this problem, Gani is the plaintiff and Kaka is the defendant. Kaka owe a duty of care to Gani. Kaka cannot injure Gani because not under duty of care. Moreover, the danger is reasonable, foreseeable. Conclusion. Kaka should not have acted negligent by kicking the ball hard in the face Gani, causing his face to become swollen. In the beginning, negligence was just a part of the wrong. Court thought, and particularly that the part which was related to mental condition of the wrongdoer, but later it becomes a thought by itself, in which case it was considered as a independent thought referring to carelessness in the doing of a lawful task. That's all for me. Thank you.
Assalamualaikum. I'm Nirashida. I will continue the discussion. The advice that I will give to Gani, whether he can sue Kaka under law of tort if the plaintiff is suffer for damage. Okay, when someone pursues a claim under a tort, the goal or legal remedy is usually the award of damage. And damage in tort are generally awarded to restore the plaintiff to the position he was in had the tort not occurred. And for a person to be able to sue in negligence, harm as a consequence of the other person's actions must be shown. And the harm caused by the negligence could be physical or mental. And the onus is on the plaintiff to prove harm, and the defendant's breach of duty has caused the harm. And further, they ought not to have been an intervening event. And the court will ask, will the person have suffered harm but for the actions of the other persons? Okay. And then whether he can sue Kaka, if the plaintiff that I will say just now, the plaintiff must suffer for damage, and that can be remedied by the monetary compensations, and the mere breach of duty just not enough. And if the duty is not enough, the damage cannot be contingent or speculative. Okay, The differences in the available damage. Okay, the number one is the tort cases are heard in a civil proceeding, and this legal process is very different from a criminal proceeding. And number two is civil cases seeks the compensations for the victims of the harmful act, not to punish the wrongdoer. The type of tort being alleged will affect the type of damage that are receivable, and the damage available for international torts tend to be broader and more generous than in negligent cases. Furthermore, typical damage include the recovery for medical expenses, lost wage, or pain and suffering. And the international torts can allow for punitive damage that since the society wishes to deter its member from internationally harming each other. And the proof of wrongful intent is required to recover, and to recover in negligent cases, the person bringing the claim must have suffered actually harm as a result of the defendant's actions. And there are two categories of damage. There are compensatory damage and the punitive damage. The compensatory damage is designed to return the plaintiff to the position he was in before being the injured by the defendant's negligence, while the punitive damage is about maybe a right if the defendant's conduct was reckless, wanton, or malicious. Okay, furthermore, compensatory damage also categorized as either general damage or the special damage. And general damage are non-academic, while the special damage are academic. Okay, the example of general damage, first is pain and suffering, number two is disfigurement and severe emotional distress, and the last one is loss of concession. Okay, in these cases, this more to pain and suffering, and some damage are quantifiable that you can do the math and figure them out, like lost earnings. However, some damage are based on the experience, common sense, and judgment of the jury, like pain and suffering. And pain and suffering damage not include what has already happened but will likely happen in the future, but because of the injury. And if a person lose their arm, there is a pain and suffering. Again, there will be a future pain and suffering as that individual copes with the everyday difficulties. And for example, suffering of the losing the arms. Okay, the special damage like medical bills. Okay, medical bills that is expenses both current and future are recoverable damage, and however they must be reasonable and necessary. And overtreatment is not recoverable and is something that a jury may be asked to scrutinize by the defendant regarding the future medical expenses, those that can be reasonable as certain as required in the future that can be calculated. Okay, that's all from me. Thank you.
My name is Muhammad Hamid Zamir Abdulhai. I want to record the video presentation to assignment 2 law for the topic of law of tort. Okay, for the question assignment 2, Kemangan Rangers and Jeli United decided to organize a friendly football match. During the match, Kaka from the Jeli United kicked the ball which hit Gani. Kemangan Rangers defender Kaka actually noticed that Gani was trying to block him, so he kicked the ball hard. The ball hit Gani on his face, causing his face to become swollen, and advised Gani whether he can sue Kaka under law of tort. Okay, for the answer, breach of duty. Okay, Kaka owned a duty of care to Gani. When Kaka kicked Gani, Kaka is in breach of duty toward Gani. Relying on reasonable man test, Kaka was now acting as a reasonable man because any other man playing football will not hit other player. Okay, thus Kaka is in breach of duty. So my point first, advise that I will give to Gani whether he can sue Kaka under law of thought if there are the element of rigidly rigid rigidigency, which is breach of the team. Okay. Point two is not enough for a person to prove that another person own them or a duty. The injury lawyer must also prove that the negligent party breach his or duty to the other person. Okay, my next point, defendant breach such a duty by failing to exercise reasonable care in fulfilling the duty. Okay, next point, unlike the question of whether a duty exists, to the issue of whether a defendant which a duty of care is decided by a court as a question of fact fact fact, okay. Next point, thus in the example above, a court would decide whether the defendant exercised reasonable care in handling the ball hit Gani on his face, causing his face to become swollen in a friendly football match. Okay. Next point, to assess what type and amount of care is reasonable in particular circumstance, negligence law turn to standard of a reasonable man has and ask how such a person would behave in a particular situation, imposing his own objective to avoid harming other in the process. Okay, the last my last point, that is to determine whether a defendant's choice and conduct that led to accident injury where negligent or non-negligent does not depend on defendant's personal effort to be careful, which negligence law generally is not governed. Okay, that's all for me. Thank you.